Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. Today, two PhDs, both female, both loving, caring, and quite brilliant. Dr. Alice Benton, Dr. Sheri Keffer. Hi, guys. How are you today?
Great. How are you two?
Well, I'm pretty excited. We're implementing some new things with our kiddos at home, trying to teach them work ethic and follow through. So when I left this morning, I gave them the contract for the jobs that I'll pay for. Because they hadn't been following through recently, there's a consequence if they don't do it as well, but there's money to be made. So I'm looking forward to what will happen when I go home today.
You're starting to create some little entrepreneurs here.
Yeah, I really want them to learn these values, and I want to keep adding responsibility to them. They're young, but I'm trying to up my ante a little bit every so often.
There you have
Well,
it.
you know, a lot of people say don't ever reward kids financially or have anything like that or pay them for things. They should just be part of the home and all that. And I just totally disagree. I really think, the more you learn that I work and, some things I do like dishes or whatever, maybe that's the contribution of the family, but certain things, they're available for me to earn money, gets me thinking about earning and then saving and investing. It's a very, very valuable lesson from the beginning. Rather than talk about that, though, let's go to the phones, everybody, and let's see who's calling. And let's go to Jeff from Salida, Colorado, listening on KGFT. Hello, Jeff. How are you today?
All right. How are you?
All right. What's going on?
Well, I had a pastor that came in between me and my wife. And
what does that mean? What does that mean, come between you and your wife?
Well, he caused a split up.
How did he do that? You guys were just doing great until he came over one day, or what? What happened?
We were doing fine. Okay. All of a sudden, he told me that I was going to have to fight for my wife. Whatever that meant, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what happened then?
I thought things were great, and she started spending more time with him. She started running around with the youth leader. All of a sudden, I was praying to God. I was asking God. I was seeking advice from God. And all of a sudden, I get a restraining order put on me because she said that she was afraid I was going to hurt somebody in the church.
Okay. So what's the question for us, my friend?
Well, there's more to it. The pastor also stole $2,500 of musical instruments from me also. And, this has been hard to let go of. It's just been tough. And, there's times that I want to give up on God, but I know I can't.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I'd sure hate for you to give up on God based on one very poor representative of God,
Right.
We'll talk about it after this, see what we can do to help you here, my friend. Glad you called. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. We really do. We really do want to help you. And we do anything we could to help you, just like we're going to try to do for Jeff right after this message. We'll be back.
For years, all I did was focus on my husband, and my needs were unmet because of his sexual addiction. The counselors focused on him, and all the books I read were about him and how to help him.
My name is Sheri Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
This weekend gives me permission to now focus on me.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
I am so thankful to New Life for giving me what I know now is going to be a new life.
The Restore Workshop is coming to Dallas June 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
All right, we're talking with Jeff, and wife got involved with a pastor. We were talking about this at the break here, Jeff, and I want to see what
Man.
Sheri has to say about a situation where, you know, I'm really interested about this running around with the pastor. There's no excuse for any woman who's married to ever be alone in a car or a home or anything with a pastor. No, you don't do that, especially if the couple's having difficulty. So what are your thoughts, Sheri?
So, Jeff, first off, I want to tell you I am heartbroken over what is happening to you. It must feel insanely confusing and like out of this world. I'm hearing your story, putting myself in your shoes. Mm-hmm. And first off, I have a chapter in my book that's called Where is God? My book's called Intimate Deception, but that chapter, Where is God, came out of my own confusion, hurt, anger over a spiritual trauma that I had because of all this happening. I kept feeling like, God, I'm getting hurt by betrayal, and where are you to protect me? Where are you to stop this? And so I just want to acknowledge your spiritual trauma and let you know that God is not the author of evil, but there is some dark, deceptive, betraying things happening. And simply, the pastor's I think he's having an affair with your wife. I think he stole your equipment, right? He feels entitled.
Right.
He feels entitled to your wife, to your property, and you've been a victim of betrayal trauma. That's really what's happening here. And so the restraining order, that's a little confusing but you know what? It's a part of deception, right? You might have said something. I don't know. If I was in your situation, I might say, I'm going to go get that pastor. I'm going to go tell him off. I'm going to who knows what. But you might have said something, you might have not. But if they're colluded in deception, they're going to do whatever is in their plot to make you look bad. It's no different than Potiphar's wife, right? Here's Joseph, good guy, and Potiphar's wife deceived him, made it look like he did bad stuff too. She had a whole plot. That's what's happening to you, Jeff.
I know that there's some life stories that we have to go through to get to the other side.
I know, but this is not a story you asked for, is it?
No.
Okay. So this story is a bad thing that's happening to you. Is this current, or is this something that happened in the past, first off? Because I wasn't sure.
This is something that has happened in the past.
Okay.
We've been separated now for 2 years.
Okay, and you're still separated.
Yes.
What are you doing with a wife who most likely had an affair with the pastor? What are you doing with all this, my friend? Are you kind of just frozen, waiting for things to change?
Well, that's what I've been praying for.
Okay.
For things to change.
Well, you know what? Things don't change because when we don't take active steps for them to change. And I can see why you're having even more of a spiritual dilemma, because that's the one thing you're doing is praying. I would give anything. I'd give my eye teeth to have coffee with you today and to sit down with you and say, hey, Jeff, you don't have to wait on the sidelines. Let's take some active steps to confront this deception, to confront your wife, to make some choices. It's like right now there's been no consequences for her bad behavior. And so there's no boundaries put down. She has no incentive to do anything different. She's has her cake and she's eating it too.
Jeff, are you legally separated from her or just not living with her?
Just not living with her.
And is she still with the pastor?
As far as I know, I know that I've broken off all ties from that church.
And is she trying to contact you at all or reconcile with you? She's not, is she?
Her and her kids keep on driving by the house almost every day.
Driving by the house.
Well, why don't you
Driving
step
by my
outside and see if she'd like to talk to you?
Well,
What about that?
I am afraid to because I don't want to go to jail for a violation of a restraining order.
Well, you could talk to her from a distance if it's your house and she's driving by and she stops. I'm not saying flag her down, but you make yourself available there, or you ask somebody to ask her, why do you do this? Are you wanting to talk? Are you wanting to have some kind of reconciliation?
And is it a restraining order that's justified? What happened to have a restraining order in place?
Well, because I caught her running around with the youth leader.
Okay.
Also.
And well, what did you do? Did you threaten to kill him?
No.
Okay. What did you do?
And I confronted her about it, and that's when the restraining order came about.
Okay. But what did you do that would threaten her life?
Were you aggressive with her in your words or in your actions?
That's the thing. All I done was, why are you running around with him?
Okay, so Jeff, you know what?
My voice was calm.
Okay.
All right, just
I
listen
believe
to
you.
us for a little bit, Jeff.
I believe
we
you.
got you.
Jeff, you have to face your fear, and you have to go to the police office, and you have to file a report in order to substantiate yourself. You are letting her bully you with deception. This is not okay.
Not okay.
Jeff, I'm afraid if you don't look at legal separation, that she will do even more damage to you, she and or the pastor. I don't think you're protected legally in the position that you're in right now.
But you're not even protecting yourself, my friend. I'm worried you're not protecting yourself. If I was having coffee today, I'd say, Jeff, we're going to go to the police department right now. I'll stand there, and I'm going to support you as you tell the police officers exactly what happened. They need to remove that. It's false.
Now, Jeff, I'm just going to talk to you about the issue you have with God. I love art, and if somebody said, hey, if you love art, let me send you some images of my art and see what you think. And if they sent me 5 pictures and all that was there was just black paint, well, I wouldn't give up on art. I would give up on their art. I would say, this is not an artist here, and I have no desire to be a follower of that artist. I've seen one black painting, and that's all I need. Now I've seen 5 or 4. Okay, so this guy says he's a minister, but if he's had an affair with your wife, that has nothing to do with God. That has to do with a very poor minister who has been unfaithful to God. So let's reject the minister, and let's reject the action, but don't reject God. Now, I'm going to tell you something that you need to hear. You have to do something. You must do something. Passivity is not going to help you any longer. Talk to an attorney. Talk to a deacon of that church. Talk to somebody. Take some action. Don't maintain the status quo. Don't live in limbo with this woman driving by your house every day like this.
It's so
You
painful.
need to do something. Yeah.
Stay on the line and we'll get you, Jeff, hooked into one of our counselors in your area. I'd love to send him my book, Intimate Deception, Healing the Wounds of Sexual Betrayal, because this stuff hurts and it's hurting you deeply.
Yeah. And I think Sheri's book's going to really minister to you there. Let's go to Clara, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, listening on Sirius XM satellite radio. How are you?
I'm good. How's
Clara?
everybody there?
We're doing all right. How could we help you today? What's going on?
Well, I tried to get my question concise here, but I guess probably you need just a little bit of background. I'm in a blended family. I came to the family with 3 children. He has none. We've been married 3 years. I was a widow for 12 years before I remarried, and this is his second marriage. My question is that our relationship has just almost dissolved. We've been to counseling. We've been to see the pastors at church, maybe over a 6-month period of time, 8 months, maybe a year. And it really just never did anything. We're now at the point where we live in the same house. We sleep in separate bedrooms. He is at the point where he just doesn't care about anything. He basically lays in bed quite a bit. Like when he comes home from somewhere, instead of sitting down or sitting in a chair, he just goes and lays right into bed.
Okay.
He's gotten to the
Clara?
point where he. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry.
What was the fascination with him? What was so amazing about him as you dated that made you think he'd be a great husband?
He was really interested in my kids. He loved my kids. And when I met him, he was kind of a go-getter.
Mm-hmm.
He had an accident 4 years ago where he practically lost his foot. So everything that was able to do prior, things have really changed. But when I met him, he was making progress. He was able to walk better than he is now. Since I've met him, since we've married, he's been through 6 surgeries on that same foot, trying to save that foot. So
how old is he?
when I met him, he's 62.
62, and a lot of surgeries there.
Claire,
Are these the kind of surgeries where he's under anesthesia? Just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what are you thinking over there? How about you, Alice? What are your thoughts here?
Claire, do you have any suspicion that he's over-medicated or that he's even abusing his medication or some other substance?
No, not medication-wise. He's on an antibiotic for the rest of his life because if he gets any kind of bacteria on that foot, he's going to lose that foot. So he's on an antibiotic for the rest of his life. He has started having a cocktail every night where he never did that. He drank prior to being saved, which was probably 5 years ago, and then he got saved. I didn't know him at that point. Now it's coming to where, we're in the house together and 24/7 with this COVID stuff. So now he's having a cocktail at night, and I said, well, why are you never drank before. Who cares? It's a great way to waste some time because there's nothing else to do.
He sounds depressed. He sounds like
No
he is
kidding.
clinically depressed and could use therapy and medication for it. Do you know if he's ever been treated for depression in the past?
No, and I came to him last week and I said, I think you're depressed. Oh, he said, anybody would be depressed living in this situation. I said, maybe you need to go see somebody. I'm not getting on some kind of medication to roll my head. I can overdo this myself. So he sees a therapist, but all she does is ask him where he sees God in his life. She sees her weekly.
Well, then that's not a therapist, if that's all that she does. And I got to tell you, your husband does sound depressed. And, when you reach 60 and you're having surgery and you go under anesthesia, sometimes people don't come out of the anesthesia the same. It has a lingering effect, and multiple surgeries can really hurt your ability to function. So we'll give you some help here right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
All right. So, Clara, I want you to listen to these women. They've been around the block a few times. And I want them to help you try to connect with him in some way that might move him to get... He needs help. He doesn't need another cocktail. He needs some help here. Guys, what could she do that she's not doing that might produce a different result here?
So one thing that I'm struck by, Clara, is, it's so interesting to see the reasons we choose somebody, right? And I can so appreciate the fact that you loved that he loved your kids. That was such a positive. And it's interesting that you met him when shortly after he had the accident, but you were seeing a tenacity, and truly, I say, right unto you, you never realized that this would get worse. You didn't know that he would have these surgeries. And so I can imagine you must feel trapped and somewhat helpless to know what to do with what I too believe is clinical depression. I think Alice is right. And so when he pushes back like that, what do you do when he says, no, I can do this and I don't need that?
I'm not going to go get on some medication.
What do you do?
Well, I try and come back with, maybe, I can see, you're struggling. And then I try and reason with him, and then it turns in a round robin, and at that point I just walk away.
Yeah, you give
There's
up.
lots of times when I'm and I'm in that house, and I almost feel like a caged animal.
I get it.
He's everything is, anything that happens in the house, don't turn the dishes like that in the dishwasher. They need to be turned this way. Or, the kids shut the door too hard. They shouldn't shut the door. So I'm like a nervous wreck,
Right.
constantly running around. Turn the dishes because they're not the right way. He doesn't yell, but he will give me a 20-minute lecture about using up the electricity because it takes too long to wash the dishes. That's just one.
Okay, we don't need to know any more about how you're separated. Listen to how they could help you maybe possibly get closer.
So depression can cause irritability. It can cause anger. It can make him look at your world in a very negative way. Like everything is just bad. Too much electricity. It's so until he gets help for his depression, he's not going to change. So I get the idea that he's going to therapy. Have you ever been with him? Have you ever gone to his?
Yes, we went before we were married to her as kind of a premarital.
Right.
kind of
Have you
thing.
been back since he's been depressed?
No.
Okay.
I have not.
Guess what, girl? There's your first step. You want me to tell you the craziest thing? As therapists, whatever comes in our office, that's what we work with. I love when I have another partner come in, because you know what? Sometimes I get a whole other bunch of information that I never heard, because that person who is depressed is whining about the wife or is whining about something, and I never get the full picture, because how can you get the full picture when there are no other family members? It's easy for us to miss it, not because we're trying to miss it, not because we're a bad therapist, but truly because we don't have all the facts. I would definitely ask you to go. I would tell her that you have talked to a couple other therapists and given them information, and that you're concerned because you think he may be clinically depressed. And you're trying to figure out how to help him, one, address his medical issues, and two, deal with, help you guys as a couple get into a more positive place. He might just be telling you they're talking about spiritual stuff because he's avoiding. But you have to intervene right now. You can't stay at home and just think he's going to get better.
Claire, what do you think his reaction would be to your desire to engage with his therapist?
Well, we've gone before, and
What about now? How do you think he'd respond now?
he probably would say, "Well, why are you going? You really?" Because I have my own therapist. He would probably say, "Well, why are you going? You don't really like her. Why would you want to go?" And so that's probably what he'll say.
Okay, I want to give you a response to that. I want you to point out, the kids and I keep irritating you. What we're doing is not helping you, and I know you're more and more frustrated with us. So I want to come with you because I need to learn more. I need some strategies to figure out how you and I can do this better so that we can both be happier in our home. Would you let me come with you to a therapy session? What might he say to that?
Oh, if you put it like you just said, he probably would say, "Yeah, well, come along then." That's probably what his response will be.
Woohoo!
Well, that'd be a good start.
That's a step in the right direction. And while you're there, I want you to sign a release so that his therapist can talk to your therapist. Those two therapists need to be conversing.
Okay.
Yeah, because you guys are really disconnected. You're both getting help. We do this often, don't we, Alice?
Yes, we do.
It's so common for us to work with a family that's stuck like this. And if we can start talking as therapists, we can figure stuff out to help you guys better. Don't stay isolated in your therapy. Work together as a team. But I love what you said, Alice. Did you hear a little bit of hope in her heart?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then go. And don't feel like you're telling on him. Just tell on you. Tell about how frustrated you are. Tell that you think there might be some depression. Don't leave anything out.
Yeah, and this really isn't the time to focus on whether or not you like her. That's who he's going to. So do what you can to get help for him and you to try to bring you guys closer together. We'll be back right after.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
I believed that I could do it on my own. I just believed if I tried hard enough and pulled myself up hard enough by my bootstraps, I could do it. It was a battle that I'd had all my life. I had to get help.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, April 18th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
The single most helpful thing was to realize that I wasn't the weirdest guy on the planet.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the Transformation Welcome Gift, which includes a personal-sized Life Recovery Bible, a Life Recovery Journal, and 5 Life Recovery Workbooks. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops.
I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's been immensely helpful to me. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, New Life Live. One of the reasons we're live and we're new, we've got Life. Larry Sonnenberg's in the studio right now. Larry, talk to us about, well, you know, this isn't easy on anybody. It's not easy on our ministry, but we sure are having some great folks step up and help us.
Yeah, we are, and I'm really grateful for that. I want to thank everybody who stepped up, especially Club New Life members. You guys are a rock, and it's why we're able to stay on and do what we're doing. It's a tough time. Everybody's having issues. Everybody's got, not everybody, but a lot of people have issues with their finances and what's going on. And if you're really struggling, please don't take this personally. I'm not trying to give you a guilt trip. I'm just asking those that are able, please make a gift to New Life and consider joining Club New Life. That is such an important thing for us. And if you could join that $30 a month, it would be wonderful. You know, I want you to think about what you hear on the radio, what you hear about our workshops and our counselors, and what people's lives are like, because they intersect with what we're doing here at New Life. God is blessing us. And it doesn't make sense sometimes that we are able to keep going like we are, but it's because of Club New Life. If Club New Life wasn't there, we wouldn't be getting the donation support we need to do what we need.
So. I have a dream that we would, as a New Life listeners, we'd get enough people to be our monthly givers, right, at $30 a month or more, that we wouldn't even have to have you come in the studio. Because that's really what is the bread and butter that supports us. And so we need a certain amount of y'all to be giving so that it can just hold us steady, right? Instead of having to have you come on.
I've always known that you didn't want me coming in here. Now
I mean, look we've got so many people on the board right now. I just like,
you're right.
But that's what it does. It would really give us more airtime with your calls, and not to hurt you, but that's the whole goal. If we get enough people giving at $30, it makes sense.
You get so much back for your $30. I love the books that I get in the mail, the CDs that I get, the calls for prayers that New Life calls me and says, "What can I pray for you for?" I mean, that's part of what I get in being a New Life Club, a Club New Life member. So you will richly benefit from being part of it.
Thank you. And we also need gifts above and beyond Club New Life. If any of you have the abilities, if you had a tax return that was really great and you want to share it, whatever the situation might be, if you can share in a bigger way, we'd appreciate it. But thank you so much, everybody who's giving.
when you give at a time when life's uncertain, the blessing, I believe, is always going to be twice as much as just if you're only giving when things are going great. It's just like if you love somebody that loves you, that's one thing. But when you love somebody that doesn't love you, that's huge. So if you're uncertain, if you don't know the future, you give out of faith. You watch the blessing that will come back to you. Not necessarily financially, but you'll be blessed. Never had anybody call us and say, man, I wish I hadn't given to your ministry. I couldn't stand listening to all those people get help, and I felt like I was a part of it. It just doesn't happen. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Well, that is the number to call. Let's go to Jack. Los Angeles, California, listens to the great station KKLA. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on, Jack? How can we help you today? We want to do that.
Yes, thank you. So since senior year of high school, I've struggled with a porn addiction. It was to the point where one of my classmates found out, and instead of us building an accountability thing, he actually started sending me things, and we would send stuff back and forth. And that really kind of set me up to have a lot of experiences where I would feel really guilty afterwards, and I would tell him that I didn't want to do it anymore, and I just wanted to break away from it. And there would be months of gaps that I wouldn't talk to him. But eventually, all throughout college, it was very rare that I would break down and message him. But I met this beautiful, wonderful girl in college, and we fell in love. We've been dating for two and a half years, almost 3, and we're engaged. And as soon as we started dating and as soon as we got engaged, on my own power, I was able to do a lot to stop this addiction from surfacing. The very few times that I did, I took it very seriously, and I really hated it, but it never seemed to go away. But recently he messaged me, and all of those months of progress just kind of fell down into this pit, and I gave in. He told me that he wanted to meet me to show me something, and I was an idiot, and I met him. And he, as soon as I got next to him, we had all our clothes on, but he touched me, and I slapped his hand away, and I was really freaked out, and I was going to leave, and he kept telling me how normal it was. And I don't know what was going through my mind. It was probably just a bunch of hormones and lust and being stupid. But I touched him, and as soon as my finger landed, I bolted and I left. And I was honest with my fiancée. I told her what happened, and I want to know what I can do because I know I betrayed her. And I want to know how to approach her, how to love her. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I want to say this. I'm really grateful that you called us for help. I'm really grateful that you opened up to her. And I'm hoping that you're not one of these guys that calls us and says, so what book do I read, or, whatever. But really, you should just go to the Every Man's Battle, the Saturday event, and see what happens.
I heard
what I think
after that, and I thought it was hilarious because I'm going to do it. There's no question in my mind.
Okay,
I don't know if I can pay
here's
for
the
it.
thing.
I'm going to figure out how to.
Well, there's scholarship money available. We can probably help you there. But here's the thing. You just go and see what happens. But the fact that you're willing to go says so much to her, because you do need to take care of this before you get married, and she needs to have the security that you have taken care of it. And I do believe that it will allow you, if you do what you're told to do, it'll give you some freedom here. Alice, Sheri, what do you want to say to Jack about his situation and the fiancé, the betrayal, all of these kinds of things?
Jack, you're my hero. You're my hero because of your courage and your humility and your honesty. We need young men like you, and you are speaking to so many young men who are listening right now who will take your example because you're brave enough to share it. You're a great man, and I admire you. You've done so much right in how you've handled this fall, but I'm concerned that you've tried to do it on your own power. So that's the missing ingredient that you're already getting to, because through the weekend you'll be connected with other men who will help you stay on task. So what I would hope is that you'll let your fiancée know that to safeguard her, you're going to put that marriage on hold until you can show her enough proof through the structured help that you'll be receiving that she can trust you.
What do you think about that? Putting it on hold until you know for sure this thing is not going to reemerge.
Our situation is pretty, I mean, I don't know if it's special. It's special to us. We're both going to health professional school. She's going to dental school. We had been planning this for years. So as soon as we were getting married, we only had at least a week or two until she was in another state and we were both going to be in Oregon. So putting things on hold frightens me, to be honest, because I don't know what I would do if we didn't keep on our track. But if it means fixing things and having a good foundation, I mean, I know when I'm smart and when I'm thinking biblically, that's what I would want.
Yeah. Okay. So look, let's just back up a little bit here. Just go to the workshop and see what happens. That's where I would leave it today. And you're either going to feel like, you know what, I really do need to put this on hold, or man, this is what I needed. But here's the thing. People recover from this not because they have a Saturday experience. They recover because they have a Saturday experience that leads to ongoing support, counseling, all of that.
Right.
And whatever you do her a favor. You're going to go to this, but get involved in 6 to 8 counseling sessions that are called premarital counseling sessions. Do that for her.
And Jack, I have got an amazing treatment center in LA that this is their wheelhouse. And so go to EMB, and then I'll call you offline and I'll give you the name of this treatment center that's right in LA. So you just move towards it. You move towards other people. You start working on your sobriety. And let me tell you right now, this guy that's calling you, you need to block him, because he
never talk to him again.
He's a sexual predator, and he's preying on you.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need help.
She said, we need to talk. She's asked me for the first time if I would consider myself a sex addict. You know, I thought it was just about admitting the things that I had done wrong. I never had a clue that it was about redeeming our story. You know, I thought it was just about coming clean on what I had done. I had no idea how to help her with her pain. She was a mess, I was a mess, and we got divorced. Going to EMB, surrounding myself with these other men, they accepted me for who I was and what I had done, but they challenged me to step up and do better. You know, they'll be around other men who are not just pointing the finger, but willing to get in and wade through it with them, you know, get in the trenches. They'll get hope from this workshop. Take my sweet wife and my story. We were divorced, remarried, and on our way to what I think will be the sweetest years of our lives. You know, it's no longer simply about surviving. For the first time ever, you know, we're thriving, we're enjoying where we're at.
Hey, listen, if you're struggling, we want to see you at the workshop. Give us a call, 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to
fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. All right. Really glad that Jack called us, and I hope and pray he'll go to every man's battle, and if listen to that humility that's getting him there, and if you need that, I hope you'll follow his example, because he's a courageous guy. We want to see you get better. Let's talk to Trudy from Tapp, Virginia. WXTR is the station. Hello, Trudy.
Hello. Actually, it's Tappahannock, but I just abbreviated it. Yeah,
well, you're on Tappahannock or whatever, but we're glad you called us. And how could we help you today there, Trudy?
Okay, I have some comments, and then I have a request.
Okay.
I thank God for healing me of schizophrenia, and since this situation with the pandemic, I have been having a lot of progress with the healing. Actually dealing with unforgiveness, writing letters to people for forgiveness, and also unforgiveness, the hostility and resentment I have against these people, for these people. And
what did these people do to you that you're? What did these people do to you that you have that hostility toward them?
Well, my former church, I had told him about someone who was bothering me, a male, an elder, and he disclosed this letter to him. And they're the best of friends, and I really felt, I don't go there anymore, but it just gave me resentment against all clergymen. You know, I know they're all not, I have a distrust. So I was writing a letter to him because of, I left, but I didn't leave right. You know, I didn't say anything. I just left right, and I know God doesn't want that. He wants us to, tell him in a letter or tell him in person. So I've been putting it off and procrastinating. So when I'm home now, God has been dealing with me. I'm really listening to him.
Okay.
So I've started.
So how could we help you today? What could we do for you today? Because we don't have a lot of time.
Okay. Yes. Today I would like to. I've been involved in the. Oh goodness. The conference call, and also the drive-through with the church, driving through with the pastor preaching and all of that, and just associating with people that I had problems with before. And but my problem is the anxiety I have with change. All of this is creating a change because I grew up in a very rigid, environment with my mother, and the church, very, fundamental church. And I'm just having so much anxiety with all this change. And I was wondering if you could give me some advice about that.
Sheri, what do you think? I mean, these are anxious times for all of us. Wow.
And you know what? It's really interesting because the core of schizophrenia is fear. And fear comes from anxiety. So I want to just say, of course, you're having some anxiety. You're really doing some good work to confront some of the places where you have been hurt in order to repair those fences. But I love the fact that you're on a conference call and you're, involved, doing your best to be involved again. Are you in a small group of any kind? And right now it would need to be a virtual small group. That's where
I'm just connecting with friends.
I would have you think about maybe going to a CODA group where CODA, where you could begin, and they have some online groups right now, but when we're back online and we do our Finding Freedom workshop, I got to tell you something. I think that would be a wonderful place for you to face your fears about being in relationships and having them safe, because you grew up in a home where there was a lot of control. I imagine there was control to the point that it was abusive. And so part of where you're learning how to heal is in the area of experiencing safe people that are going to love you, warts and all. Like they're going to love you even though you have some anxieties.
Sounds good advice, because I've been isolated in isolation. I'm bipolar, and I've been in isolation a lot. And now I'm coming out and dealing with people, and as you said, I'm very anxious about it.
Yeah.
And it's changed all the things that I'm doing,
Well, I know that is kind of scary to be told you need to do the thing that causes you the most anxiety, but it really is the tough answer. And I know that if you can't do it on your own, you sometimes just asking somebody to come alongside you and help you, or you get the kind of counseling you need until you do have that ability, tough thing there. But oh my goodness, if you're just home alone writing these letters and trying to get people to, pay attention, or trying to release them, that can be so difficult to maintain that kind of life alone and isolated.
Well,
and we don't want that for you.
Excuse me. I actually, the people that I'm connected with, I've been connected with them 50 and 60 years. I just haven't been responding to them back. And, as soon as I talk to them, it's like we just connect as if we've been talking all the time. But it's still anxiety, with doing that. Will it last? Sort of.
And those kind of interactions are going to help you feel more normal.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the more relaxed you'll become with it.
Yeah.
Trudy,
well, it's good to hear you've made progress. Go ahead there, Alice.
I struggle with anxiety as well. I just wrote a blog about this the other day because I think two of the best weapons to use against anxiety is getting comfort from people we can trust, like Sheri is recommending, whether you find that in a group or with your friends, being comforted in our anxiety. But then also using the truth of Scripture to fight it. So you might look up Philippians 4:6, where we're told do not be anxious about anything. And then the verse goes on to give us some practical steps we can use that help us overcome anxiety. I want you to memorize verses about anxiety and use them as a weapon to fight that enemy of fear.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you called. I'm going to send you Take Your Life Back, and I think that'll be a little bit of a help to you there. And anybody else, if you want a copy of a great book, that's a great one. And Stones of Remembrance that Dr. Daniel Amen put together, what a great, easy little book to find the scripture you need for comfort or for strength or whatever it is. He's really done a great job with that. You can get that by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You can also find out about Every Man's Battle, which is in May, and then, coming up, the intimacy in marriage, all of these things. We're doing them online, and it is convenient, and it's never been easier to transform the hurt, the pain, the struggle into something powerful for God and for the kingdom of God. Now, let me just encourage you, if you need some help, you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, or if we could help you, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I don't know what you need, but when you talk to one of the folks that are at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, they'll help you figure it out, and they'll help you with a resource, and I don't think you'll regret that phone call. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I'll be right here at Facebook Live, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Please come join me. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, Steve Arterburn here. Thanks for watching New Life Live on our New Life YouTube channel. You know, you can see it anytime. Hope you'll subscribe, and when you do, hope you'll turn that little button thing on, the bell, so that whenever we post a new video, it'll ring right through. Now, if you go to newlife.com, you'll see the schedule of when we're in the studio, which is helpful to know if you have a question for the program, or you could go to newlife.com or call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You could do this on the app. I mean, there's so many ways that you can stay in touch with us and know when we're there, because we want to answer your questions. So thanks for watching right here on the New Life YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Click here to subscribe.